top stories. Travel advisory for certain countries extended. Prime Minister Harris advocates for non-tariff measures for small island developing states, and emergency room physician underscores the safety and importance of vaccines. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime and bitters. Live, love, be.
Look at you. No braces, all the internet you can handle. I wasn't so lucky.
Invis is not your parents' braces. Invis is predictable, less painful, more comfortable. Invisalign.
Use BioCare Lab Strong Ends products to supercharge your hair with deep, lasting hydration from nature's most amazing moisturizers, raw moisturizing honey, and conditioning shea butter. These ingredients pull moisture from the hair to boost, strengthen, and restore the oldest and weakest parts of your hair, your ends, helping to keep them stronger. Wow, beautiful hair. Strong Ends. Dry, damaged, breaking hair and no hair growth? Strong ends? Whoa! I'm not cutting this hair for anything. Weak, thinning edges due to weaves and braids. Strong ends? Longer and free of split ends. Get supercharged from roots to end with BioCare Lab Strong Ends Honey and Shea Butter Infused Relaxer and Hair Growth Product. Available retail at CNC Superfoods on the Bay Road and wholesale at CNC Trading on the CAP Southwell Industrial Park. Telephone 465-4081.
Are you looking for today's best architectural designs, appraisals, estimates, or even project management? Then look no further than Trevor Freights and Associates. Our designs are amazing. You'll be so satisfied with your work, you will tell others all about us. Visit trevorfreights.com today. Located at New Road on St. Kitts, with over 20 years in the industry, we strive to provide the utmost superior quality of service to all our valued customers. Call our expert staff at 465-8184 or 662-5184 and see what we can do for you. That's Trevor, FRAITES.com. You decide, we design.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Berridge. The government has announced that the travel advisory, originally issued on February 7th, 2021, and extended twice thus far, has been further extended for another 30 days. In a press release issued on Wednesday, the task force stated that this advisory is intended for travelers from Brazil, the United Kingdom, and South Africa, and is now expanded to include India. The advisory became effective on Tuesday, May 4th. The release continued by stating that this new travel advisory comes as a result of the government's interest in continuing to protect our borders and the health and wellness of our citizens and residents in response to the 3 new variants of the COVID-19 virus that have originated in Brazil, South Africa, and the UK. The inclusion of India in the travel advisory comes in light of the widespread rates of COVID-19 in that Asian country, particularly as a result of the double mutant and the virus, which are responsible for average daily infections exceeding 380,000. India has already confirmed 20.7 million cases of COVID-19 and some 226,000 deaths. The travel advisories for the UK, Brazil, South Africa, and India remain in effect for at least 30 days. Prime Minister Harris is advocating for non-tariff measures, among others, for small island developing states to achieve the mandates of the Cotonou Agreement, which covers issues such as democracy, human rights, and climate change. In his statement at the virtual first dedicated session of the Global ZIZ Leadership Session on the Cotonou Agreement on Tuesday, Prime Minister Harris spoke of the implications of the agreement, which was reached last December and was initialed in April.
There is also a sense that SIDS are at last being given heightened priority. Priority to deal with outstanding differences over key issues like trade, migration, and labor mobility. We also applaud the renewed focus on climate change and environmental sustainability and special attention to sustainable, inclusive growth and job creation, in particular investment and private sector development. However, for the Cotonou arrangements to be optimal for ACP island states, a more distinctly small islands regional approach must be implemented to address continuing barriers to trade, including non-tariff measures.
He asked that a compatible model be implemented for the ACP group to better navigate the environmental, social, and governance measures instituted by the EU.
A framework to enable SIDS to adapt to growing and administratively burdensome EU standards in areas like integrating ESG into corporation activities would be a good starting point. We urge that the EU would reinforce the European Development Fund, probably one of the most crucial mechanisms for both regional and national level funding in the Caribbean and Pacific.
Prime Minister Harris also mentioned that the discussion of trade rules should be had, especially in the face of the ongoing pandemic and vaccine distribution challenges. According to the Concilium.Europa website, the Cotonou Agreement aims to strengthen the capacity of the EU and the ACP countries to address global challenges together. Dr. Cuthbert Sebastian Jr., emergency room physician at the Joseph N. France General Hospital, said that vaccines are safe and important and are used to build the natural immunity of a person's body against disease infection. Dr. Sebastian Jr. was at the time discussing the COVID-19 pandemic and the importance of vaccination during the May 5th edition of Working for You.
A vaccine is a method that we use to boost our natural defenses against a specific disease. So what they do is they take either a virus or a bacteria or a pathogen and take either a part of it or the whole thing, and they administer it into the body so your body sees it, and then it can build up a natural defense against it. But what they do is they weaken it or kill it, or it's a harmless part of it where it doesn't cause an infection. So that's what a vaccine does. So it's seen as a preventative measure to get the actual disease.
Dr. Sebastian addressed the issue of catching a disease even after being vaccinated. He noted that vaccines can help reduce the severity of a disease, which means that even if a vaccinated person catches an infectious illness, he or she is less likely to suffer serious complications.
No vaccine is proven to be 100% effective. None in existence, not these COVID-19 vaccines, not the ones that we've seen throughout the past. But using some examples from the past, we no longer have to deal with polio anymore, where that used to be rampaging through the world, where we had hospitals dedicated just for this disease at one point.
Dr. Sebastian Jr. reiterated that vaccines are indeed important and safe, adding that they work with the immune system to prepare one's body to fight any virus once exposed. As the nation's roll-out vaccination campaign continues, we now take a look at the latest vaccination report. After the break, Prime Minister Harris attends funeral of Keon Richards, and there has been a decrease in incidences of fires. Stay with us.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop
standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
I wish I knew how to do that. Me too.
Thinking of what to do this Mother's Day?
Boys, put on your shoes. I have a treat for you.
How about you make it a family experience?
But Mommy, what's the treat?
I'm going to teach you how to bake.
Messes and memories. When you shop safe and smart at Value Mart.
Flow Broadband and TV is packed with even more value as you get a free Samsung tablet, free installation, and 50% off your bill for 3 months when you sign up now. Yes, a free Samsung tablet. Power all you do at home with up to 100 megabits per second super fast broadband. Plus, stay HD entertained with Flow TV. Stream, share, and do more on your new free tablet, which will also keep you connected on the go with ease. Sign up at a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris joined family members, friends, teachers and students of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School and members of the Defense Force Cadet Corps at the Thanksgiving service for the life and later interment of former Defense Force Cadet Keon Richards in Sandy Point. The 14-year-old Form 3 student at the Charles E. Mills Secondary School died on April 1st when a tree fell on him at the Sandy Point basketball hardcourt where he and his colleagues were playing a game of basketball. 2 other players were injured but have since recovered. At the funeral, the Prime Minister said, quote, "In the death of Keon Richards, the country lost a young man who had positive attributes. For him to have joined the Defense Force Cadet Corps shows that he had love for his country and was ready to serve it. The teenager was tragically taken away, and he and his friends engaged themselves in what is a noble activity for people of their age, playing basketball." Dr. Harris called for prayers by well-wishers to comfort Keon's mother, Denise Richards, and his 4 siblings, and for God to give them strength to bear the loss of Keon Richards. He also paid tribute to the other basketball players who were deeply traumatized after seeing their colleague die. The Thanksgiving service was held at the Sacred Heart Church in Sandy Point. Incidences of fires reported in St. Kitts and Nevis have decreased. That's according to Garfield Hodge, Acting Chief Fire Officer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, in an address on Tuesday to mark International Firefighters Day. Acting Officer Hodge said that 695 fires were recorded in 2019 compared to 643 fires in 2020. He attributed the reduction to the work of the fire services.
This significant reduction can be attributed to the effective management and operation of my department's fire prevention unit. I wish to commend my hard-working, committed and dedicated officers for their commitment to the cause of service relative to fire prevention and fire extinguishment.
The Fire Prevention Unit, which is headed by Fire Substation Officer Timothy Martin, is responsible for public education initiatives on fire safety and prevention. Activities include public service announcements, practical demonstrations on how to use a fire extinguisher, and interactive and informative sessions. Mr. Hodge also cautioned businesses and residents to have fire extinguishers on hand. He said children are also taught methods of fire prevention and extinguishment, as studies suggest that they are more inclined to start fires.
We urge all business establishments, institutions, and residential homes to invest in the procurement of a fire extinguisher or extinguishers, because this seemingly simple device can save lives, limbs, properties, and economies. Another fire prevention component is our annual summer safety program, which targets and equips children at the elementary school level with fire prevention and life-saving skills, thus reducing fires, particularly house fires. Studies have shown that 70% of residential fires are started by children of this age range. Locally, statistics have indicated that there has been a significant reduction in this respect since the inception of this program nigh 20 years ago.
The acting fire chief pledged that the men and women under his command will continue to live up to their motto, which is to protect and safeguard the life and property of citizens and residents by preventing or reducing the dangers and effects of fires and explosions. After a recent completion of a week-long criminal prosecution training course with members of the Ministry of National Security by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, Crown Counsel within the office, Greatest Garden, visited ZIZ Studios for the program Policing with You on Thursday to explore the role and function of the DPP and what is involved in prosecuting a case. She explained that some of the functions of the Office of the DPP include prosecuting all criminal matters within St. Kitts and Nevis, reviewing police case files, and providing advice to the police. The Crown Counsel also explained the role of each person within the office.
So the DPP and the Crown Counsel predominantly prosecute in the High Court. We also prosecute in the Magistrate Court when there are complex cases. The police prosecutors function out of the Magistrate Court. The police orderlies, they are responsible for preparing the summons, serving the summons, serving disclosure on accused persons. They are also stationed in court while court is in session to provide order and security.
Garden also spoke of what is involved in preparing to prosecute a case.
The first thing that you are expected to do is to read your case file. You have to know what is within the file. The second thing that should be done is you check to see if the accused person has received disclosure, because that person would need to know the case that is being brought against them. After that is done, then we prepare the questions for each witness, and we prepare questions as well that we anticipate they will receive in cross-examination. We also prepare for whatever legal submissions that we anticipate. We prepare our closing speeches, our opening speeches, and then we actually call in the witnesses to brief them, because you shouldn't go to court unless you know what the witness is actually going to say.
She also cleared up the misconception persons have about prosecutors in the DPP's office always aiming to get convictions.
I find that that is a misconception that persons have, that we in the DPP's office just try to get a conviction at all costs. And that is not what we're about. We are taught to be ministers of justice. We are here to prosecute aggressively if there is evidence, sufficient evidence to find the accused person guilty. We prosecute. If we find that there is insufficient evidence against an accused, then we discontinue it.
Okay.
So we do fight for both persons.
Okay.
Policing with You airs every Thursday on ZIZ Radio at 9:15 a.m. during the morning show with GQ. And finally, on the local scene, teachers in the Federation are benefiting from new skills learned at a recent workshop hosted by the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, CFBC, in collaboration with Fulbright scholar Leslie Cordy at the CFBC Poinciana Conference Room. The workshop held last week focused on equipping educators with the necessary skills and knowledge to be better able to facilitate blended learning within the classroom. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, William Hodge, commended the Dean of CFPC, Dr. Jacqueline Austin, for the initiative.
I am indeed very excited that this learning experience is taking place this evening. I think it's perhaps the start or the continuation of something good. I think that this is the path that the college needs to be taken, where we can put on short courses, very short courses, even if it's just for an hour and a half, to further develop and promote learning.
Mr. Hodge also spoke about the importance and the need for continued professional development amongst educators.
We have to begin to change our mindset when it comes to professional development. So within the Ministry of Education, existing initiatives and new initiatives, when these are planned, when these are developed, part of the component is what professional development is needed to support our teachers and enable our teachers to be able to carry out the initiative. We are now seeing that as a very important, very vital part of the equation.
This workshop was described as timely and beneficial as the COVID-19 pandemic has altered the way teachers teach and students learn. Coming up in regional news, killer boyfriend in Guyana to be posted to Interpol's list. The details when we come back.
I wish I knew how to do that. Me too.
Thinking of what to do this Mother's Day? Boys, put on your shoes. I have a treat for you. How about you make it a family experience?
But Mommy, where's the treat?
I'm going to teach you how to bake.
Messes and memories. When you shop safe and smart at Value Mart.
And we're moving now to news on the regional scene. Police in Guyana are searching for a man who killed his 21-year-old girlfriend, but Interpol may help catch the killer. Travis Chase has the details.
Local police continue to search for wanted man Shaquan Allen after credible sources say he evaded arrest when he got word that police were onto him following a confession by a teenaged family member that he shot and killed his girlfriend, 21-year-old Shawnette Dover, then buried her in a shallow grave in his backyard. Nightly News was credibly informed Wednesday that even though police received credible information that the killer boyfriend may be hiding out in French Guyana, local police are still searching for him in Guyana and for any information that could lead detectives to Allen's direct location. Police are set to be in contact with their French counterparts as they seek to locate Allen. Police said that Allen may have disappeared days after he had joined a search party in Linden for Dover.
Search party for a missing girl. How long she's been missing? 2 weeks.
are you doing? Wow, beautiful girl. Where's she from?
An online media entity, Guyana Daily News, has offered $1 million Guyana for anyone with information that could lead to the arrest of Allen. Police did confirm that the offer is entirely legal. The Guyana Police Force has issued a wanted bulletin for Shaquan Allen. They have listed him as the prime suspect in the murder of 21-year-old Shawnette Dover. Dover, who went missing on April 3, 2021, was reportedly murdered between April 3 and April 30, 2021. Police say that anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of Shaquan Allen is asked to contact the police. Meanwhile, the father of Allen has been released from police custody based on the advice of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. He walked out the Linden lockups on Tuesday a free man, even though it was reported in some sections of the press that the man had been implicated in the burial of Dover. Credible sources have said that was not the case. A 15-year-old who witnessed the murder of Dover has been charged with being an accessory to murder. That teen appeared before a Linden court on Tuesday and was remanded into protective custody. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
A new online platform aims to empower Jamaicans to hold the government accountable. They spoke in a webinar entitled Linking Good Governance to National Development. More in this report.
Questionable transactions and corruption allegations have been plaguing Jamaican governments and agencies for decades. According to Executive Director of JAMP, Jeanette Calder, occasionally audits unearth issues and the media bring the issue to the public. But unfortunately, most Jamaicans do not know how to take it further, holding those involved accountable.
When Herman does a story, and we get really, let's face it, a little bit of angst. We want to do something, but we don't know who to talk to. We don't know who to call. We don't know who to write. We've all been there. And so JAMP wanted to bridge the gap between the information you get from the media, the information you get from Parliament, and our accountable officers to get more information and to hold them to account.
It's why the entity has set up an online accountometer on its website, through which the public may track such issues and get information on the officials involved. For NIA Executive Director Professor Trevor Monroe, the move is timely, as he says Jamaica has continued to underperform in international indicators of good governance and national development. He listed the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, which Jamaica signed onto, including the commitment to reduce inequality. Despite this commitment, international development rating agencies rank Jamaica 128 of 158 countries.
The Corruption Perception Index, we have scored under 50 consistently, a failing rate. The Human Development Index, we rank 101 out of 189 countries. Jamaica doesn't belong there. The Global Competitiveness Index, we rank number 80. That's 79 countries more competitive than us. And one of the main reasons for that is the level of corruption, which discourages investment, as well as the level of crime.
JAMP officials hope that Jamaicans will use the Accountometer portal to not only track issues of alleged corruption, but to in turn use the information to press officials through email or social media for answers and remedies.
Coming up, India Prime Minister under pressure to impose national lockdown. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy a life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Welcome back. Pressure is mounting on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to impose a national lockdown. A quarter of all COVID-19 deaths in the world last week were in India, as were almost half of the new cases. The official count of infections since the start of the pandemic is now surpassing 20 million. Al Jazeera's Elizabeth Poranam reports.
When Rohan Agarwal decided to be a doctor, he didn't expect to have to choose who lives and who dies a year before completing his medical training. At the age of 26, he's in charge of an emergency room in a New Delhi hospital on the night shifts. With a shortage of beds, oxygen and ventilators, he has to make heartbreaking decisions.
What job we are assigned is what is to be decided by God. Yeah. Whom to be saved, whom not to be saved, and we are not made for that. We are just humans. Yeah. And at this point of time, we are being told to do this.
Patients are continuing to die in India because of a lack of critical care facilities. 5 died in the state of Uttarakhand when their oxygen supply ran out on Wednesday. India's Air Force and Navy are now transporting oxygen and other aid, while the Army has joined the efforts to create more facilities.
This is one of India's biggest public hospitals where the Army is setting up an oxygen plant based on technology developed for its fighter jets. It says it will set up 500 similar plants all over the country within 3 months. The plant can generate 1,000 litres of oxygen every minute.
This will operate continuously. So wherever such plants will be installed, those hospitals will not have to depend on suppliers anymore. These plants are capable of transferring oxygen to patients directly.
But health experts say there's also a shortage of medical workers with the expertise to administer the aid.
These are unprecedented times. We have never seen a pandemic of this size and scale, and definitely a pandemic that stresses the infrastructure, not only in terms of beds, etc., but in terms of manpower.
Rohan Agarwal takes a brief break to have his lunch, but says the intensive care unit or ICU is never far from his mind.
That beep sound is continuously in our head, even while we are sleeping. That beep, 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 that casualty noise, the ICU noise, that continuously goes in our head, in our ears, every time, every day.
With hospitals and their workers at breaking point, India's main opposition party, the Congress, is the latest to urge the government to impose a nationwide lockdown. Elizabeth Puranam, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Authorities in Mexico promised to punish those responsible for the collapse of a metro train overpass that killed at least 24 people. The accident has raised questions about the safety of Mexico City's metro system, one of the busiest in the world. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
Emergency officials have finished identifying the bodies of those who died in Monday night's metro train accident in the Mexican capital. Distraught relatives of victims are now demanding to know how such a tragedy could have occurred.
There were 20 to 30 victims, but tomorrow, how many more will there be? Among those 30 was my dad. The only thing my dad used to do was work. He only used to go to work, from home to work. Unfortunately, yesterday, he never came home.
The accident occurred when a metro overpass collapsed onto a busy freeway in southeast Mexico City. The shocking images of bodies being pulled from the wreckage have rattled the confidence of commuters.
To be honest, I think we could see this coming on that metro line because the place it was built on used to be water, so it's not stable and there will always be problems.
Some metro facilities are no longer in good condition, and as you travel, the tracks feel different. Some facilities are not in perfect condition and have not yet been repaired.
It's clear this type of transport isn't adequately maintained.
Some 4.3 million people ride the metro every day. The 12 rail lines that crisscross the Mexican capital are some of the busiest in the world. Though city and federal authorities have promised a thorough investigation into what caused that deadly accident aboard the metro on Monday night, outrage is growing over alleged infrastructure problems all over the city. The accident on Monday night was the deadliest metro disaster since October 1975, when 2 trains collided, leaving 23 people dead.
We're protesting because of corruption, impunity, lack of care for those of us who live, inhabit and transit in the periphery. Justice for the families.
Metro authorities say rail lines will undergo inspections in the coming days to analyze construction integrity. Commuters fearful that Monday's accident won't be the last. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
Up next in sports, we have the results from the latest basketball matches and logistical dilemma for IPL stars. Stay with us.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
I took the vaccine because I want the in-person audience experience at Sugar Mass 50.
I took the vaccine because I want to be performing with all my peoples on Ultra Truck this year for Carnival.
I get vaccinated because I want to be on the road for Sugar Mass 50.
The reason I chose to be vaccinated because I'm a profession as an entertainer, for us to have a safer brighter Carnival.
I am DJ Flames and I got vaccinated because I want Sugar Mass 50 to be greater than ever.
I took the vaccine because I miss entertaining thousands of people and I miss hosting my own events. See you at Sugar Mass 50. Boom.
Get vaccinated quickly to turn up Sugar Mass 50.
We begin with basketball. The SKNA BA National Bank Senior Basketball League continued on Wednesday at Basketball City. In the first game, Newton Ground Blazers failed to show up for the continuation of their game versus Rams Hitters, which was cut short on Tuesday because of rain and has 6 minutes to be played in the last quarter. Final score, Rams Hitters 91, Newton Ground 49. For Hitters, Darrell Lewis made 24 points, 6 steals and 6 assists. Taslin Hodge, 20 points, 7 assists, 8 steals and 5 rebounds. Dwayne Willock, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals. And Ansel Rivan, 5 points, 9 rebounds, 7 steals, 3 blocks and 2 assists. For Newton Ground, Jaron Elliott made 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists and 6 steals. And Alexis Richardson, 9 points, 6 rebounds and 2 assists. In the second game, Blueprint Construction St. Paul's Tough Knots defeated ASC Wolfpack 85-65. For St. Paul's, Nashawn Maynard made 29 points, 33 rebounds, 4 assists and 3 steals. Tifadi Herbert, 13 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 blocks. Clayton Powell, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals. For Wolfpack, Calbert Dorr made 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals. Laquandre Laurie, 17 points, and Akian Stevens, 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals. The league continues on Thursday with 2 games. In the first game, Ian K. Minimat, Sandy Point Falcons take on Upfront Ballers at 6:30 p.m. Then at 8:30, Atiba Harris St. Peter's Runners will play Fab Kia Birdrock Uprisers. A logistical dilemma has emerged following Tuesday's postponement of the Indian Premier League IPL, with several players and staff now in limbo as to how they will return home. And with Jamaica announcing a travel ban on India, the 3 Jamaicans at the IPL will also be affected. Jordan Fort reports.
Jamaicans Chris Gayle, Andre Russell and Fabian Allen may be in limbo in trying to return home from the now postponed Indian Premier League IPL. According to ESPN Cricinfo, Russell and his West Indian teammate Trinidadian Sunil Narain are set to travel to the Caribbean via charter flight on Thursday. But how would Russell get into the country following this announcement by the Prime Minister on Tuesday?
We are extending the travel restrictions that we have to include India and Trinidad and Tobago effective Wednesday, May 5, 2021 until the 2nd of June 2021.
But Jamaica Cricket Association JCA CEO Courtney Francis says they have been in contact with Cricket West Indies and arrangements are being made to determine how the players can enter the country.
Seeing that those players were in a bubble, they would have been tested numerous times. They would have to be tested before they were able to leave India too. And I don't know where they'll be routing them through. I am presuming that any year that they'll be routing them, that does not include any ban from Jamaica. They will be expected to land there in Jamaica, do their quarantine, see that they are citizens, and they went out to do a job, and they would have been tested thoroughly before they get back inside the country.
So how did the IPL start seeing positive cases when the players were in a bubble? Speculation was that one of the players who had to leave the bubble to do an MRI may have brought the virus in. But Dr. Akshay Mansingh, who has been involved in several such environments, gave a possible theory while speaking on Hits 92 FM's Sports Grill.
So the matches were initially in Chennai and Mumbai, and now they're in Ahmedabad and Delhi. So there was some travel that was involved, which would have meant going to airports, would have meant getting on a plane, and would have meant coming off again. So whereas I read the same report as you, which speculated that it could have been at the MRI visit, I don't see why it couldn't have been when they travelled, because it also falls into that time period as well.
When TVJ Sports contacted Cricket West Indies CEO Johnny Grave, he only offered, quote, "We are in contact." Jamaicans Chris Gayle, Andre Russell and Fabian Allen may be in limbo in trying to...
period as well.
When TVJ Sports contacted Cricket West Indies CEO Johnny Grave, he only offered, quote, "We are in contact with the BCCI and all of our IPL players, as well as their agents and franchises, to assist where we can in ensuring that they can get home as quickly and as safely as possible." End quote. As of now, the other countries with overseas players have varying arrangements to try to get their players home safely. Some English and South African players are already back on home soil, with New Zealand making arrangements for the players who are due back in that country to arrive. Australia has the largest contingent in the IPL, with 40 players and support staff in India. Their country currently has a ban on all arriving passengers from India. They have instead made arrangements to fly their personnel to the Maldives or Sri Lanka before deciding their next move. It's unclear when they'll be able to re-enter their country. Jordan Fort, TVJ Sports.
And that's it for sports. When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines.
The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honourable Timothy Harris, wants to alert the public about fake Facebook and social media accounts that are circulating. These sites may look genuine, but they're not. These fake sites may use the Prime Minister's photo and name, but their only intention is to spread misinformation through false and scandalous information. Some of these pages are scams and will attempt to dupe you out of money. Do not trust them. You can find the real Prime Minister Harris on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching for his official handle, which is @PMHarrisKN. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages that claim to be the Prime Minister's but do not have PMHarrisKN right after the // are fake accounts. These should be reported to the respective social media sites. You can also report fake social media accounts to presssec@gov.kn. That's PRESSEC@gov.kn. Facebook has verified Prime Minister Harris's official page by placing a white check mark inside a blue circle next to the Prime Minister's name, Dr. the Honourable Timothy Harris. This blue circle appears just above @PMHarrisKN. Also, be alert. If the person claiming to be either the Prime Minister or another government official asks you for money through instant messenger, direct message, or any other means, this is a scam and not a real charity. This public service announcement was produced in order to help you be an informed social media user. Protect yourself and help spread the message.
And we're wrapping up with a recap of the top stories. Travel advisory for certain countries extended. Prime Minister Harris advocates for non-tariff measures for small island developing states. And emergency room physician underscores the safety and importance of vaccines. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage. Goodbye.